Yeah.
Have you seen me boot?
No.
That was a Sega CD quote right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah?
this is a terrible game.
Hey man, have you seen me boot?
Is that from Double Switch?
No.
You wish.
Corpse
From
Killer?
the, Corpse Killer.
From Night Trap.
There you go.
Night Trap.
It is from Night Trap. Have you
Is
seen
it
me
now?
boot?
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I'm
actually.
recording, by the way.
I'm recording.
Yes, so am Phil.
All right. Let's do a clap.
Someone should ask Kevin if he's recording.
I am.
Okay.
Oh, is Kevin joining us this week?
Not my first barbecue.
But this is a podcast.
What?
What does fire and meat have to do with any of it?
Who? What? All right, clap. Ready?
I can tell you what the meat
Ready?
has to do with it.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Can we do it again?
You want?
What?
You really want
I'm not happy with my clap.
to? All right.
What?
3, 2, 1.
It's better.
No, that was
Man.
perfect.
That was.
I didn't
was-
have the angle right, and I think I did sort of a roll.
Right.
That felt good.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to just kind of call it quits with the clap. I don't.
Go over your head?
You're over the clap.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that.
Yeah.
I really don't know if I'd say.
No amount of
boy.
pubic shaving will get you over the clap.
I see. Hey, Kevin,
What
Yes,
shaving?
what game should I put down here for you for this week?
I have Umihara Kawase
Okay.
on the Vita.
Gesundheit.
I have Persona 4 Golden for the Vita, almost finishing that up. And if there is time to fill, I can talk about 2 retro games, Wild Wild World 2, which I played for the show last week, and also been playing through the original Goonies.
Yeah.
I can talk about retro games. I played 24 of them today.
Yeah, including Pride.
Famicom.
Did you talk while you were doing that?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
We're one of those regular streamers now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You're not just a dreamer, you're a streamer.
You need a shitty name, Greg.
Yeah.
Let's call him the Stew. Come on.
Yeah. Say Gaga Greg or something like that.
You're listening to CJ in the Stew.
There it is.
You're listening to CJ in the Stew live on your morning zoo.
Waiting for that one.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to episode 445 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, May 19th, 2015. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, is a man who I don't even know what he's doing there, clicking in some Lego bricks, no doubt, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Actually, what I'm doing is transforming an Optimus Prime figure.
Oh, that was going to be my next guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were close. It was a very solid
That was
guess.
really a 50-50 shot. I mean,
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah, and joining me from the frozen north is a man who played so many retro games today that his arms are tired. Mr. Greg Seward.
I definitely got the Nintendo thumb happening.
That's a real thing.
It is a real thing, and I'm serious because I used the Nintendo controller, the NES controller, the entire day, and my left thumb is kind of sore.
Did you use the dog bone or the original?
No, the original. So it had the nice sharp edges on the D-pad.
Oof.
Nice.
Oof. And joining us today, a man who knows plenty about sharp edges on NES controllers, Mr. Kevin Larrabee, host of Back in My Play. Hello once again. Thank you for joining us. And now I can't hear him.
Can Kevin not hear us?
No, that's the thing is like sometimes I mute my mic because I have traffic. You probably see behind me if you're watching a live stream, and there's motorcycles because it's Sunday. The motorcycle gangs get together in the burbs, and then
Are you
just
in Waco?
right on through.
It's not funny. They're dead people in Waco.
Well,
Too soon, Phil. Too soon.
I was worried about him.
Jesus.
I'm listening. Thank you. I apologize for that.
My goodness.
Well, I thought you were pulling a Mike Phillips there for a second because
When Mike pretends to have technical difficulties when he's really just done with us.
No,
Yes.
Just my stupid mute button on my Yeti microphone. Sorry.
That's plenty okay.
I wish Phil's microphone had a mute button. I mean mine. I wish my microphone had a mute button.
Oh, that's
Right,
what they
right.
call a Freudian slip.
Yes, indeed. Hey, so Greg.
Did you get one of those Freudian nip slips? Those are all.
Hey, Greg. I hear you played a lot of NES games.
I did.
Today.
NES and Master System games. Played 24 of them today in a 12-hour stretch to raise money for the Operation Supply Drop
Yeah.
charity, and did pretty well. I was aiming for $500 raised, which I thought was kind of high for how recently I signed up for it, and ended up at 665.
Right.
And I've got a standing offer from Susan Cook, who supports me in Extra Life as well, saying that over the next day she'll match up to $200 more.
Wow.
So,
Right.
I want to throw that out there right now. So if you haven't and you would consider donating even a little bit of money to the 8-Bit Salute Operation Supply Drop, you can find my page at fundraise.operationsupply.drop.org/Seward. And like I said, anything that you donate, she will match for the next 24 hours up to $200, which should put me over the $1,000 threshold, which is awesome considering how recently we put this all together.
Yes.
Yeah,
And this money goes towards?
It goes towards a lot of different things. They have a lot of programs there. Originally, it's called Operation Supply Drop because it provides basically video games for deployed troops all over the world during their downtime, which the interview I had last week on the show sort of conveyed the importance of that. But then they also have a lot of different programs for returning veterans as well. So it's all around a very, very cool charity.
Nice.
Very cool. What was the worst thing that you played today?
Oh man, I played some Master System games, and I'm not a Master System guy. And I played Cloudmaster, which was not good. I played World Grand Prix, which was even worse. Actually, I think I ended the World Grand Prix segment with, if you liked what you saw here, check eBay in about 2 hours. You'll find it. And Golden Axe, which looked really good on the Master System, but doesn't play all that great.
Isn't that a really cool RPG?
No, that's Axe Battler you're thinking of, which is a Game Gear game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aha. I watched you play
a bunch of
some
really good stuff too.
Adventures in the Magic Kingdom.
You didn't like that.
That was
I love
impressive.
I love that game.
It's a hard game.
That seemed like a terrible game.
I was learning it.
And Double Dragon NES, one of my favorite games.
And Master System, I played that as well.
Master System's the better one.
Nah, I'm not gonna go with you on that.
Really?
I like the. I think I just have fonder memories of the NES game.
It's certainly better looking.
That.
You gotta give me that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Played some DuckTales. Played some Turtles arcade game. Mega Man 2, Shadowgate. Yeah, played some really good stuff. 1943.
Awesome.
How far did you get in Shadowgate?
Pretty far. I played it for
yeah?
played it for half an hour.
Oh, okay.
So I got to the point where I got sucked out into space when I smashed that mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, all around very, very successful. Thank you to everybody who donated. Thanks to everybody who hung out, and I got to give away some cool stuff. Thanks to Jeff Solomon over at the Chive. So yeah, all around a really good day. I'm really happy.
Very cool. Yeah. Did your family clear out for your gaming?
Oh no, they did not. In the background, you can hear my wife making lunch for my kids, and my daughter, my youngest, came in and announced she was a princess at least 3 times.
Nice.
Excellent.
So, and to be fair, she was wearing the right dress for it. So,
Yeah. You play any Castlevania?
I did. I played actually Kid Dracula on the Famicom. Actually, Kevin Larrabee's the one who sent that to me when he went over to Japan. He picked it up for me. That game's crazy.
How cool is that game?
It's a
really great game, right?
It's great
so
music to it.
Yes, really great music, which you expect from Konami on the Famicom anyway. But
Do you guys remember when Konami made video games?
you know, it was funny because
yeah.
when I was looking through what I was playing, like I'm just looking down the list and it's like Capcom, Konami, Capcom, Trade
Sunsoft?
West, Capcom, Trade West, Kemco, Capcom, Rare, Nintendo, Capcom,
Yeah.
Tecmo, Sunsoft, Capcom,
But if you are really sad about
Konami.
Konami not making any more games, I mean, this is something that I've been realizing more and more over the last couple of years. Is there's so many games, especially on the Famicom, that came out only in Japan that are absolutely outstanding, and that they never made it over here. So if you're like, yeah, I still want some more. If I want more brand new NES games made by Konami, just hit up eBay and you can get some great games right away.
I want to grab YY World. At least one of them. I assume the second one's better.
Get 2 first. Get 2 is by far the much better game.
Yeah.
That is what I heard all about on the most recent Back in My Play.
So,
yes.
And the nice thing about Kid Dracula, not only is it crazy, but I also patched it, so I was playing it in English.
Very nice.
So I knew what was going on, because in between there's like these little mini games, and you have no idea what's going on if it's not in English. So,
yeah.
And I actually got to the trivia bit. There's a boss that's actually the Statue of Liberty, and she runs a game show, which is so ridiculous. It's like you and 2 previous bosses sitting there in Uncle Sam hats with a big American flag in the background, getting asked questions by the Statue of Liberty. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's just such a crazy game. I can't understand why it never came out here. I know it came out on the Game Boy. I can't understand why they never brought it here on the NES.
Maybe they could have put it out as an Ultra game. That would have been good.
Yeah.
So hey, if you like Konami and Castlevania, you know,
bad.
this train doesn't have to stop, right? You know, Igarashi has launched a Kickstarter for a brand new game, a game called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which he is calling an Igavania.
Oh God.
And it has already made its Kickstarter funding goal, so it's definitely going to happen.
Did it make it like an hour or something like that? No, I think it was a day.
It was really fast.
It was
really, really fast. Anybody here back it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No.
I sure did.
Kevin's over there shaking his head.
I still haven't backed anything on Kickstarter except for the Blinking Light Win from the I'm blanking on his name right now, who made the Neo Geo Omega consoleized MVS system. Like the Blinking Light Win is this 72-pin adapter for your NES that is supposed to never, ever, ever break down.
I've heard about this.
And obviously he's already put out products before, so I know like he knows what he's doing. He's gone through manufacturing before, so I supported that. And those are actually shipping really soon. But I think the only thing that I would want to get out of this Kickstarter is the $100 tier, which includes the physical game and also physical CD soundtrack. And it's just really tough to swallow $100 when the game's not going to come out for probably 2 years. I still am just not able to make that big leap. I can't just give them $100 and just hope that it's going to be worth $100 down the road.
When you take inflation into account, it's almost like you're making money.
You know, and it's so fun that you're looking up to me when you say that, and it just feels like it feels like.
Well, let's be honest. It feels like if you were standing there talking in person.
That's right.
I'm not a big guy. Well, vertically, I'm not a big guy.
Yeah. Phil's on my plan. He doesn't have the height, so he's going for the width.
Well, I'm curious. Did any of you go for anything higher than the $28 digital tier?
I went for the physical copy.
I went the $60 physical copy. Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe I should do it.
I didn't do it.
I'm not. The only reason, like, the thing is that it got funded. I backed it after it had already been funded, and the only reason that I really did it because at that point it's like, well,
it's a pre-order.
Now it's going to be made, so I can buy it whenever I want. But I didn't know if they'd have the physical version available when the time.
Yeah.
Right. This Kickstarter is a little bit different, right? In that the game was already going to happen. He already had investors.
He's got backing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like the backers would only the investors would only give him the money if he met the Kickstarter goal.
Right.
That would prove that there is interest in the game.
It's basically guaranteeing free sales.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, having no tier between like $5, which you get nothing, and $28, I felt like, well, I would want to contribute to the Kickstarter, but I don't feel like I'm that big of a Castlevania fan to go all out, and I really would only want the game. So yeah, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, I saw you put out a little tweet that questioned the intelligence of having such a wide gap.
But hey, he made it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
$2.2 million says it's no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. There are plenty of people who want to back this project, and that's great.
Yeah, I know 29,000 people who did not seem to think it was that much of a problem.
That's right.
It's CJ.
Well,
That's why your Kickstarter failed. CJ.
I've never done a Kickstarter.
Don't start rumors. So I'm really curious what you guys think about how they went about this, because it was so tactical in the way that they set up these promotions with all these other, whether it be like YouTubers, they were on Kind of Funny Games, they were doing stuff with Tim Schafer and his staff. Like this, the promotion just for the Kickstarter was absolutely outstanding. There were podcasts all over the place, but it was almost to the point where, like, man, I almost thought like it was too much. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like it was just kind of weird that I was constantly being bombarded with this stuff, even though I totally think the game's going to be fantastic. I have all the trust in them. They're bringing back one of the composers from Symphony of the Night, and of course Castlevania. Why am I blanking on the name of the Castlevania game on the Sega Genesis? It's right in front of me too.
Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. Thank you. I'm sorry, Phil. I know that now. I have the look of disappointment in your eyes. I'm sorry. I also did actually.
Well, he's still looking up at you, so it's fine.
Middle finger.
Oh wait.
Wow, that is quite...
Bloodlines.
Now we see what Finn sees when Daddy's upset.
Actually, hold on. Now we see what Finn sees.
Oh no. But again, it's now that I'm even talking to you guys, I'm thinking maybe I should just drop the $100 because it's a good package. I just don't have a PS4 or an Xbox One right now, so I don't know which one to buy. Probably PS4 again.
Yeah, all I cared about was that I'd have the physical copy. Really, that's the only reason I backed it. Otherwise, like you said, I mean, it's gonna get made, so you can just buy it whenever you want.
Yeah, but are they going to make physical copies beyond the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't have to worry about that.
Well, maybe they'll reach
what
deal with Deep Silver, just like Mighty Number 9 did, and make some more.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Mighty Number 9 is getting it, they probably will too, but...
Yeah.
Although, didn't they say there's like a...
I hope you get a different cover, at least. That'd be good.
Yeah, it includes exclusive backer-only content.
For the EGA game?
Wait a second here.
Yeah, for the physical release.
Yeah, physical copy of the game includes exclusive backer-only content and a special Kickstarter exclusive slipcase.
Excellent.
That's cool.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Be nice to have a little collector's item.
Yeah.
Indeed. So, Konami.
Who?
I was right.
I called it. Who actually made I guess their CEO has made a statement in the Japanese press. New Konami president Hideki Hayakawa says that they are moving their focus to mobile as their main platform. So,
Well,
put this in with Sega, Square Enix, etc. Like a lot of companies are doing this.
Speaking of Sega, I heard today that a lot of Sega games were delisted from the App Store today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
I saw a tweet earlier. It was like Jet Set Radio, and there were like 3 other ones, and they weren't old licensed games. They were like Sega original stuff.
Yeah. The difficult thing about the App Store is that you can't, as a developer, like easily say which hardware it's compatible with. Like it's sort of an all or nothing type deal. So once you get to a certain point, it's like, well, do we want to maintain these titles or just delist them off the store? Because people with new devices are not going to have a very good time if they buy it and it starts crashing. Like even if a lot of developers do this, they put in the description, like the first line, like not compatible with iPad 2, but people still, they don't read the description and they'll still buy it and have a bad experience.
Yeah.
So I can certainly understand why it's happening. It does suck though.
No, that I never even thought about that. I was more worried that there was some just weirdness going on with Sega, and But your explanation sounds good.
Your digital future.
Digital future. Yeah. Forget about preserving those iOS digital games. That's Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no piracy anyway if you preserve games. The ESA tell us that.
Only sometimes. Only sometimes. So Wired has a piece up by Chris Kohler, I think, asking whether Nintendo can survive mobile without hunting whales. Of course, in mobile games, the whole...
That's pretty racist against the Japanese.
The whole thing is that you want people to play your game who buy tons of coin packs.
Kevin liked that one.
Well, they have a really terrible history in terms of whale hunting, so it's even worse.
That was the joke. That was the joke.
God. There you go.
You see? It's all...
Chris knows better.
Well, Iwata said in an interview that they're going to try not to do that and deliver as much value as they can to their customers, and that is fantastic. I really, really hope they are successful with that approach.
CJ?
Yeah.
CJ, can a company survive, and I'm just asking your opinion as a gamer, can a company survive creating iOS games without going after the whales?
Well, it depends how much you want to make. See, DNA, the company that is getting into business with Nintendo on these games, they expect basically $25 million out of each title. So
what?
That's right. That's the expectation.
Holy
now,
crap.
you know what though? Because I'm thinking about
an expectation of $25 million out of every title. Means pretty much you're probably going to have to do the free-to-play mechanics that everybody quote-unquote hates.
Now, because the bulk of the free-to-play stuff that Nintendo's been doing right now, the free-to-start,
which is fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, it does seem like they always have the caps. I mean, there's a set amount you can spend in Rusty's Real Deal before you unlock everything. Stretchmo, which I know we'll be talking about later, has a very set amount that you can drop right at the beginning to unlock everything.
That's right.
And what was it? Even was it Pokemon Shuffle, which on the surface appears to be using that same old Candy Crush saga. Like you gotta earn gems and pay real money for gems in order to keep the game going. Doesn't that cap you at some point? Yeah.
Was it that or Pokemon Rumble World?
It might be Rumble World, yeah.
It was one of those, but yeah, you're right. It has a cap.
Yeah, but even then, Pokemon Shuffle is still pretty generous with giving away gems.
I played that for hours without having to buy anything.
Did you guys end up buying anything in that game?
No.
No.
Okay.
So I spent the $5 to remove ads.
Right.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
I can tell you, nobody. You put that purchase in your game, nobody buys it, even though everybody says they want it. No one makes that purchase.
That's crazy.
I can tell you.
I'm one of the few who does, I guess.
I guess so, but
because you mentioned that before.
It's like less than 1% of the purchases made. Yeah,
that's is removing ads.
Real low.
How about stuff like coin doublers?
That's usually pretty low too. I don't know
really?
if you noticed this. Nobody puts coin doublers in games anymore.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Okay. I have noticed in a couple recent games that they will tie in the ad removal to, like, if you purchase anything. Any in-app purchase will also remove ads.
Right. Yeah.
Is that sort of thing seem to be more successful?
Yes.
Okay. Have you guys tried that yet?
We actually do that in most of our games.
Okay. So. I'd have to play your games, so.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing about Nintendo, like, if anybody can make this work, it's going to be Nintendo, because whatever title they bring out first is going to be very high profile. If anyone can get game players to spend a little money on a game, it's Nintendo. So fingers crossed on them coming in and hopefully changing the marketplace for the good of everyone.
How much did you spend on Stretchmo, CJ?
I spent a whole $10 on Stretchmo.
Strange. So did I. I guess we're what you call whales in that game.
I guess so. I'm fine with that. If $10 is the ceiling, no problem. Here we go. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So Nintendo has made some additional announcements about their E3 presence.
They're going to give people presents at E3?
It's going to be great.
They're doing a digital event again this year, and they're going to have the E3 Live with the Treehouse folks all during the show, which is, again, excellent. That was awesome last year.
Yep.
And this year they are bringing back the Nintendo World Championships.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
That's it's a little weird.
Why is it weird? Why?
I don't know.
Just because I think everyone hears that and they immediately think of,
And did you see Fred Savage's tweet?
Oh, God.
Let's go. Come on, Fred. Stop directing stuff. Let's go. We need you back. And not Fred. We need the kid. We need Jimmy Woods. We don't need
keep him there. Fred Savage was not the wizard.
That's right.
Don't be fooled by the big name. He was not the wizard.
Thor has to get back in the game. I know he was in Ecstasy of Order. He has been practicing his. It depends. I don't know. Are they going to do Tengen Tetris or are they going to do Nintendo Tetris? That's going to be the big piece of discussion.
Well, it's just going to be on Mario Maker, right? That's all they're going to do.
What does Jenny Lewis have to say about this?
He touched my breast.
She probably wants nothing to do with it.
I think that's the real important thing here.
Yeah,
Nintendo wants to do some cool stuff. You get Bo Bridges. You get what's left of Christian Slater. You get you get Fred Savage. You get the kid that played Jimmy Woods. Then you get Jenny Slate. And if the truck driver is I forget his name, Spanky. If he's still around, you bring him along too. You get them in front of the crowd, and everyone's going to remember the Wizard and what it was like to see Super Mario 3 the first time, and they give you a bunch of brand new Super Mario Bros. 3 levels, by Shigeru Miyamoto. How kick-ass would that be? I just wrote their whole presentation. It's done.
And you got to do it at Universal Studios, and hey, they just announced that whole thing.
It's all coming together.
It is.
Oh.
I think we just uncovered Nintendo's plan.
I think so.
You heard it here first. We were the first to tell you that Konami was going mobile only.
Yeah.
Now we're the first to reveal exactly what Nintendo's plans are for the Nintendo World Championship.
So why don't Greg? Why don't you think this is a good thing? Like, this is fun. This is cool stuff. Like this.
I honestly haven't paid too close attention. It's kind of what you're saying is just like everyone's sort of in ecstasy over the old Nintendo World Championship, and I just don't think it's going to be that. But
it's going to be better than that.
I don't even know what it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
I don't know.
Exactly.
They're doing like regional stuff, and then they're going to have the final championships in LA.
I think my deal with it is that Nintendo is just not as everywhere as it was back when the original championships.
Well, in terms of market position, they're really nowhere.
Well, that's just it. I mean, back then, they were really the only game in town, and they were all encompassing, and video games meant Nintendo. So to have something like that was kind of a big event, and it was, if you were a kid, it was a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And especially getting to go to one where they would have all these games that weren't out yet and stuff like that. Yeah, do you
guys remember like the Super Nintendo Mall Tour that came around? Like,
I have it here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was the up into that point in my life as a 6-year-old. I was 5 years old.
God damn it!
It was the greatest thing that had ever happened. seeing those 16-bit graphics, seeing Super Mario World, and then also getting to go home with a Super Nintendo T-shirt.
That was great when I was 15 years old too.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that in high school.
I went to the Sega Genesis Mall tour.
Oh yeah,
That was
cool.
fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Cool. None of that stuff ever came here ever.
I went to a TurboGrafx.
I did too.
Yeah.
Was it like the infomercial that they had where they showed you Lords of Thunder and how it was even better than the other games in the arcade?
Oh well, it wasn't quite that hyped up.
You guys were in a great spot for that sort of thing. You were near Chicago, and I mean that was that was a central location for the game industry for quite a while.
Alpha Zones.
I mean, hell, was NEC based there?
Yes, they were.
And I mean, Konami was based there. Midway.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Chicago addresses on my old game manuals.
Yeah.
I got to play the Turbo Express well before it came out, which was pretty fantastic.
That was because Jimmy, right? Or, no? Wasn't that Jimmy who got one?
Oh, no, this was, they were...
I'm sorry, Jim.
Well, he was, at the time he was Jimmy. Our friend...
Such disdain in your voice when you said that. I'm sorry, Jim.
So big.
Well, he's a big actor now. He's in Silicon Valley and The Dark Knight and all these... movies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But no, he ended up winning a bunch of Turbo stuff. But did he win it? He may have won a Turbo Express at one point, but this was before it had come out or anything like that. And
Okay.
there was a little, NEC tour thing where they had the a bunch of games set up, and then there was a booth where someone had the Turbo Express there, and you could stand in line and play a little Devil's Crush on it for a few minutes.
Nice.
Excellent.
It was mighty impressive.
Not to talk about game music, but the TurboGrafx PC Engine had just an incredible sound hardware for the time in it.
I'm just going to say Blazing Lasers, and I can exit conversation.
I mean on the carts, on the cards. I'm not talking TV soundtracks. I'm talking
I'm saying Blazing Lasers.
Blazing Lasers, yeah.
Like Blazing Lasers and Magical Chase, which is obviously it's like a really rare PC Engine game, and even more so on the TurboGrafx. But this soundtrack is incredible. Go listen to it on YouTube, Magical Chase. Look it up right now, and you can still get the CD soundtrack from Japan on Amazon Japan. And I can listen to this all day. It's just absolutely incredible. It's really, really good.
It's not as good as the Blazing Laser soundtrack.
I will go to bat for Blazing Lasers any day just because of how awesome that name is. It's like you can almost just say it like Blazing Lasers. Like it just sounds so cool. It's like Bulls versus Blazers. It sounds the same. It's like Bulls versus Blazers. Another top tier sports game.
I think Kevin was about to dip into some freestyle rap.
Oh, dude, you guys, you get me excited to play. Like now, I get to pull up Bulls versus Blazers tonight.
Yeah, I love that. That's the one you're gonna pull out. Blazing Lasers was single-handedly made me want a TurboGrafx when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That game was, my buddy Ian had it, and it was just like I loved going. And I didn't like any other game he had for his TurboGrafx, but Blazing Lasers I could play for hours.
What else did he have? Like he didn't have the ball games?
I don't remember. Well, he had Keith Courage.
Oh, yeah.
He had Military Madness, but I wasn't really into that.
That's a good game, though.
He had a couple other games too, but
Military Madness is not a game that you sit down and play when you go over to the friend's house.
Yeah, the reason he had it was really cool, and this is something that I never really had, is because his dad was really into it. His dad didn't like video games, but they would play Military Madness together.
Right,
that's a bad game.
It spoke to him, right?
Yeah. So, Jim's my friend Jim, the aforementioned Jimmy. His dad was really into those military games, but he was into the pen and paper ones.
Oh, hardcore.
You'd go down into the basement, and there was a giant table covered with this huge map.
Don't touch that table. Don't touch the table.
Paper hexagons stacked up, and they were.
Did you have the tank pieces that he had the long stick that he pushed them with to?
All I know is Jim and his sister were deathly afraid for any of us to go within 5 or 6 feet of that table, because
that proves that there had been beatings at some point.
Yeah, if one little paper hexagon fell off the stack, then There'd be hell to
I'm
pay.
not talking about real beatings. I mean spankings and
CJ,
stuff.
did you know a guy or like a dad that did have one of those tables? Because I had a friend with the train table. He's like, don't touch the trains! Because we go downstairs to play the Commodore 64, and he had this whole train thing set up. And like, you're going downstairs, he's like, just don't touch for trains.
It's like the Lego movie.
A vivid memory of this.
I'm not talking about real beatings. I'm just talking about
Well,
spankings.
it's the way
Talking
Kevin
about-
said, "Oh God," I thought he meant like I was making a joke with people really beating their children. That's not what I
Or,
meant, but-
as we call them in
Theoretical
Canada, as we call them up here, a Canadian hug.
yeah,
Yeah.
Greg Stewart, the Louis C.K. of video game podcasts.
right.
There you go. Nintendo. Speaking of Nintendo bringing things back, they are also bringing back the Splatoon Global Test Fire for one more hour of fun.
Really?
God damn it, Nintendo!
They're spoiling us. Oh my
Over
God.
Memorial Day weekend. So
Really?
All I know is my Wii controller won't shut up about Splatoon.
I know, right?
It came on like 5 times today.
Yeah, same
Yikes.
here.
they really want that to be a
I'm
hit, huh?
Yeah.
I'm ready to not buy it just because I'm sick of seeing it pop up on my screen. Like it's late
It
at
hasn't
night, I'm
popped up
trying to
on my
watch a
screen,
movie.
but I already pre-bought it and I preloaded it, so it's fine.
I got the
So you
lights
got
out.
the bonus skins.
I'm ready
Yeah.
to sit down, watch a movie, and suddenly this little blue light starts blinking. And suddenly Squid Girl pops up right next to my TV, and it's like, ah, come
Phil's
on.
sitting there, he's trying to masturbate. Suddenly,
can't
Squid Girl pops up.
Furious with Splatoon popping up all over the place.
I would buy that game
Splatoon.
if you could get Reggie to film a video that just like had pop up on my Wii U thing. It just said, "Hey asshole, buy Splatoon. What are you waiting for? Come on, you son of a bitch! You can't, like we got nothing else this year. We pushed Zelda back."
But seriously though, you know what they should do, since they've got that thing set up, they should have Reggie, but just like staring at the camera like this.
Just
I'm gonna cut myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut
Just
myself.
completely silent and staring at you the whole
I
time.
don't get 500,000
Yes.
copies. I'm gonna cut myself.
Were you guys there? Do you remember there was
That's
some-
dark. That's very dark, Kevin.
I've been traveling all weekend. I got no sleep last night, so I'm a little caffeinated delirious
a
as
little
usual.
punchy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
a little delirious. I have I'm having strong visions tonight. And again, if you just think about what they could do if they just had like animated GIFs pop up on that Wii U screen instead of just.
Well, you know what they could do to get some attention. Bill Trinan could pretend that.
Oh boy.
is leaving Nintendo. That'll get.
I didn't really get the because I think we all know Bill, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Super nice
Have you
guy.
not-
Super nice
Yeah,
guy.
he is. He's a very nice guy. And he tweeted that out, and I felt very, very bad. I fell for it.
Yeah, me too.
And then he quickly reveals that it was a joke, and I was just like, I'm not seeing the joke.
Well,
You know,
see, if
it's
he had
just-
done that, if he had changed his Twitter profile after the video went out,
Yeah.
it would have been fine. But he did it like 3 hours before. So,
Hey.
oops.
This is my last episode of Player One Podcast. CJ fired me.
All right, see you later. Let's see.
Just kidding. Did you see that relief for a second on Stewart's face, though?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm really just seeing a frozen screen on
On Stewart?
Stewart.
Just
Yeah.
my mind was just bursting with possibility.
Yeah. So, Phil, you didn't do any of the test fire things, right? Are you gonna get in on that?
What day and time are they doing this?
Saturday at like I don't know, noon Pacific or something like that.
Okay, so probably
this-
not.
And that's a bummer that you're not going to be able to do that, Phil, because again, I got to play it and it ran super smooth. It ran, and it was.
Yeah.
I was talking to UCJ and like, man, I'm in. It's good, and this is when everyone was jumping on at the same time. It ran great. I had no slowdown, no lag, anything like that. But most, and again, it's Nintendo, so they always do things a little bit differently, for better or worse. But most companies, like if it was the new Halo game, they would do a whole weekend, all weekend.
Yeah.
Whenever
What do you
they
mean
have
a
free
whole
time.
weekend? They do a whole week.
Well, or even better. But I'm saying, like, Nintendo's like, all right, from 12:33 a.m. to 1:52 a.m., and this is going to be Greenwich Mean Time. You're going to be able to play our game and test it out for a little bit, and it's just like, you want as many people playing this game as humanly possible, right? Because the people that have a Wii U, you want to make sure this goes. Everyone who has a Wii U should probably buy this game so they have something to play on their Wii U for the summer and fall.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not. And again, it's just another confusing thing that Nintendo has done that just kind of baffles me. But the game is really cool. It looks great, runs great. It is.
And they've got a couple of months of free content set up, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
That's pretty cool.
All right, the NPDs, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, come on, let's get fired up, Greg. Let's go.
I'm in.
So the only reason I'm
some
mentioning
numbers.
this is because the Xbox One outsold the PS4 in April.
Awesome competition.
Great.
Let's go.
First time in a long time that happened. So
Is it a trend?
I don't know, maybe.
Not really with a single month. I don't think we call that a trend.
Yeah. There weren't really any huge console releases. I guess Mortal Kombat X was like one of the only things that came out in April. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
There wasn't anything huge, was there?
Nothing huge. But you got to wonder, so the Xbox One is still $50 cheaper than the PS4. Does this mean that it's time for Sony to look at dropping the price?
For 1 month? I mean, because of 1 month of sales? I don't know.
Because of 1 month.
I doubt they're panicking at this point.
Yeah, probably not. I actually kind of expect, I'll be surprised if it doesn't happen, Microsoft to do like some kind of redesign of the Xbox One at E3 or later this year or something.
God, it's only been 2 years.
Get the price down.
It hasn't even been 2 years, has it?
Yeah, but like take out, I mean, they took a lot of the TV stuff out of their strategy, but the box that they're selling still has a lot of that stuff in it, right? So you could probably redesign and take out some of that stuff and cut costs even further. So,
Yeah.
A new motherboard without multiple HDMI
Yeah.
inputs and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was sort of surprised. I think last week we talked about the leak of the 1 terabyte Xbox One. I'm kind of surprised that appeared to be a thing rather than a redesign. But I guess we'll see come E3 and afterwards. It'd be nice to have a new cheaper config for when Halo 5 comes out, right?
I mean, that would be the time to launch it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I moved my PS4 to the top shelf of my entertainment center this week, so hopefully it won't sound like a jet engine when I play it.
Yeah.
Just saying, I just happened to look at it.
How pumped are
you
you
guys
guys
have that
about these
happening?
consoles right now? Like the PS4 and Xbox One going into E3. How CJ? How do you feel about those?
Can't
I
wait to
feel
see what
good.
Konami's making for them.
Yeah.
Oh come on, Greg. Let's be a little optimistic today. I'm missing a WWE pay-per-view for the show. Come on, don't bring me down.
Hey, now wait a second, Mr. Optimistic. Weren't you like, oh yeah, it's a crappy pay-per-view event?
Well, it's all the rematches from Fastlane. They have to do the matches again because they didn't have time to actually write new storylines for the next pay-per-view because they're doing 2 pay-per-views within 3 weeks for some
I don't
reason.
even understand.
I
I
know.
do not understand professional
Me
wrestling
neither.
at all.
You guys agree? I understand. I'm with you.
CJ knows what you're saying, though.
I'm into wrestling again
CJ had that phase.
for 5 more minutes.
TJ watched the Cyndi Lauper video the other day, and now he's into wrestling again.
That's right. No,
Don't get me wrong, that Cyndi Lauper video is fantastic.
I think E3 will be really interesting because, last year a lot of the games that were announced are sort of still delayed and far in the future.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see like what new stuff they have and what digital releases. Because I think since you have a lot of AAA people bowing out. A lot of smaller games coming in. So, last year we had PT, and we all know how that ended. Maybe we'll get something as exciting as that this year. So yeah, we'll see.
Hey, all I know is that half my pre-orders from 2 years ago still don't even have release dates, so I can't wait to see what those games look like now.
Exactly.
No, I get excited about E3 every year now because mostly because I'm not part of the industry anymore and I'm not covering it anymore, so I don't know everything. Like E3 was starting to become like, okay, you know everything now, and now like 3 weeks before we start the show, we're actually going to fly you out so that you can do all your coverage then. Then you go to the show for nothing. There's never any surprise. There's very few surprises now. E3 every year is a nice surprise. I mean, I get legitimately excited about what I see because I didn't know everything about it before I even watched the presentation. Like I love that.
It's amazing how that changes your perception of the entire thing. Like, you remember when we used to get like, I don't even know, it was like a mini disc of assets from Nintendo that would have like all their stuff on it.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, well the surprise is gone. I guess I'll still go to the press conference.
And like I said, like in the final year or so that I was, even when I was freelancing, like it started to become sort of standard. And I don't know if it is anymore, but you did your coverage based on private.
I think it's even worse
before the show.
I think it's worse now, because they have that Judges Week thing like weeks before E3.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think it's way worse.
I think Nintendo is going to have the biggest E3. I think Nintendo is going to bring a ton of stuff. I'm probably more optimistic about Nintendo than anyone else, and I think Sony's going to announce some really big deals.
What will you do if they show Nintendo's booth and it's nothing but a bunch of iPhones on tethers? That's the entire booth.
It's not ready.
I'm just kidding.
They already said it's not going to be that.
I know.
What I love about what Nintendo's been doing at E3 is everybody is like, well, the Wii U is dead. They're going to have nothing. And for the last year and even 2 years, they've had some exciting stuff for Nintendo fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're not a Nintendo fan already, you're not going to be, converted or anything by what they're showing. But, something like Mario Maker, to me, that's like a really, really exciting release, and I'm sure we'll see more on Star Fox at E3. So I'm curious about all that.
I'm going to give you a $50 bet that Metroid on a Nintendo platform announced at E3 is 100% lock.
Really?
100% lock. I'll do, and the three of you can come up if I'm wrong.
What makes you think that that's going to happen?
Your choice.
We want to have you on the show live doing 300 push-ups if you're wrong.
Dude, I'll do Metroid 3 push-ups, and that's about it. But I'm telling you, if you really look at their lineup right now, Zelda is not coming out this year. We have Splatoon coming up. We have Star Fox. We have Mario Maker. And we have a couple other smaller titles that are coming out on the Wii U. I know they're going to have something big to show us, because other than that, what you just said, CJ, everyone's going to think the Wii U is done. That's not going to be what people are thinking. That's going to be the actual truth. If there's no big Wii U titles announced at E3, it's game over. And I was listening to A4 on my plane ride back today. Jay Casdall was, I don't think he knows anything, but more or less saying that he thinks that Zelda on the Wii U is a guaranteed to be pushed to the next console, or to do the same thing like they did Wii and GameCube. And yeah, you think about it, 2016 is when we're going to get Zelda, and what if they show it at E3 a year from now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. It was just got me thinking. But they got to have something outside of Star Fox.
Exactly, because they need people to keep those systems hooked up until Zelda gets there. Either that or when the NX
last
out,
year.
right? So
they did a great job of that last year, but the problem is they really dug deep into the future on some of that stuff, right? And Zelda's the perfect example. They showed Zelda last year, and it's like, oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome, but they were at that point. It was a 2015 game, and now we know it's not even a 2015 game. So they can't. They'll show it again, but that won't be the reason.
And that my second thing is, I think their huge announcement will not be a game, but I think if
the console.
No, I don't think it's not going to be a console. It's going to be, if you've looked at the way Virtual Console has been going the last couple months, it has been drip by drip. It has been nothing coming out of that faucet. And again, this is just me like thinking like, man, why would they not care about Virtual Console? But now this could be an opportunity to say, hey, guess what? Now we are putting together this Netflix like subscription.
Could you imagine?
I'm not going to do that.
I'm just saying, and it might be like a different 5 games every month, and you pay $5 a month for it or something. I don't know what it would be, but
they just put out that like free to try Amiibo tap thing where you can play. To me, an Amiibo tap is their play to try to get people to buy Virtual Console games because Amiibo is doing so well, and why don't you put an Amiibo up here and then play like a couple classic scenes from Super Metroid. Like that.
But I see what you're saying. I mean, and that's something that we've been saying on this show for a long time. Is what they should do is they should turn it into it's like a Netflix or just a service in general, like
or a PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live Gold. If they did something that was $50 a year, and then they started giving you a couple Virtual Console games every month, like if they did it that way too, I would totally make it the Nintendo Network whatever Star Edition or something like that. And
you know what? I think I see them doing that type of thing with whatever new loyalty program they have coming up, right? Because we already know that's coming.
I mean, they've already got all the old consoles that they need working on the Wii U now. I mean,
no, they don't. They don't have TurboGrafx.
No, I'm talking about Nintendo's own consoles, though. Like they've got N64 going now. They've got Super Nintendo,
the DS.
They've got DS. They've got Game Boy Advance, and it's all there now. So I mean, the pieces are in place for something like that. Except for and all those games are still small enough that they would be a quick download.
I think they will do it with whatever loyalty program they have going. I don't think they will do like a straight up Netflix model because their intention is to get you to buy more new Nintendo products. So as long as you're doing that and you're remaining a customer of them, then they'll give you free Virtual Console games. They don't want you paying $5 a month to access a bunch of NES games. So I just don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, well, the good thing is that we'll know in 4 weeks.
We will. Well, yeah.
and CJ will be doing 300 push-ups on the show.
No, the bet was about a new Metroid. There was no.
There will be. It is 100% locked. There will be a new Metroid.
Why do you think that? Why? Yeah, be 100% locked because it's
Metroid's turn.
Because people have said it for the last 4 years, so the odds are in my favor, and it makes sense. I mean, that's the only rationalization that I could say is that Tropical Freeze came out a while ago. There's been some time. I mean, they have more than one team there. Next Level Games.
Yeah.
They've been pretty quiet. They did a really good job with that Luigi's Mansion franchise. I would be confident giving them Metroid. They have 2 really good second-party studios that haven't
really released anything in a while.
And that's the thing is I don't think Metroid should come out of Japan. It has to come from the West because Japan doesn't have the staff to do this stuff right now.
Well, and I don't. You're right.
Because they're working on new games for the new console. They have.
You already know what a lot of those teams are working on, right?
So that too.
They're not working on Metroid. So we don't know what Next Level and Retro.
So I have 2 opportunities. I have 2 chances.
Has it been long enough since Other M killed the series, though?
Gosh.
One of them has to be working. Nintendo bringing back Urban Champion so many times on Virtual Console now. Someone's going to be working on a new one of those.
Yes. Team Ninja.
That's what Devil's Third is. Devil's Third is really Urban Champion.
You guys kill me.
That'd be awesome. They turned it into a full-blown fighting game.
Well, Balloon Fight should be a yearly release. That should be their Call of Duty. But they just haven't really put the effort into starting that cycle and building the engine to do it. But
that's right.
Or Faceball. Bring back Faceball. That's another option.
Yeah.
Faceball 3000.
Oh yeah, I was right there with you. We can give out those Nerf balls.
There's time.
Yeah.
At CES, like they did back in the day.
CJ, we should just start a marketing firm, you and myself, and we will just work as a partner with Nintendo, and we could fix all this shit in about 2 years.
Yeah. Let's do it. Done.
You know our Twitter handles. Make that happen.
Yeah. So Dragon Quest VIII.
Oh no.
Speaking of Square Enix, well, we mentioned them earlier.
I was going to say no one was speaking
earlier.
Remember remember back when we used to do the GameStop Eris impressions and Erises from Final Fantasy? It was a few years ago, but speaking of that...
Yeah. We mentioned them on the show once or twice. They're doing Dragon Quest VIII Remake for the 3DS.
That'd be cool if it came out in the U.S.
That would be cool. What was the last one they did that... it was 7, right? That didn't...
well, 9 came out on the DS.
9 came out on the DS.
The remake of 7.
The remake of 7 never came out.
Yeah.
Here.
Right.
Correct.
What do you think our chances are of getting 8?
Somewhere around 0 to none?
Well, I mean, we did get it for the iPhone.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
They did that, the PS2 version has that awesome English dub.
Is this a remake or is it just a port? Like, if it's just a port, we might get it.
No, it's they're actually having to redo the assets because they're bringing it to the 3DS.
Remake.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying is like...
It's a down port.
Are they... No. Yeah, okay.
I'd say the odds are higher that
they're
there's
rebuilding
a
the game and it's different.
Right.
Like, what I'm saying is, could you take the translation that exists and plug it into this, is what I'm saying. Because if you can, then there might be a chance we'll get it.
Right.
But if it's like a reimagining of 8, then I'd say the chances are a lot slimmer.
I see.
It would be like the difference if... Okay, picture it this way. If you can just plug in the old translation, then the chances of us getting it are me. If you have to retranslate it, then the chances of us getting it are Kevin.
Okay, so we're talking about dragging and dropping the text file from the original folder.
That's where the work would be.
Yeah, it's still on their Pentium 2. They got it on their
but
They're just going to make sure that drive can still spool up.
It's probably on a zip disk somewhere.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's on.
Or Jazz Drive. Jazz Drive.
Yeah.
You guys are killing me. You know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. Is anything in game development drag and drop? No, it's not. So, Dragon Quest VIII not coming out here, I think is what we're...
No, that's such a huge bummer because those are such great games, and, again...
Dragon Quest VIII was really good.
The 3DS, if you could get, I'm very happy to own Dragon Quest 4, 5, and 6 on the DS, and, I've really had a lot more interest in the series since I played through Dragon Quest 5, which, if you can, grab a copy of that for your DS right now. It is, it might be my favorite RPG of all time. It is awesome. The story is fantastic. The translation is great. And it doesn't have any of those like that weird thee and thou, like all the weird English, the old English
fair
stuff
talk.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Renaissance fair talk.
Go check that. I know there's still new copies on eBay for like $40. It is worth every penny of that $40. Grab it for your collection before they're gone for good.
Yeah. Speaking of RPGs on the 3DS, I got rid of Xenoblade Chronicles.
Already?
Yeah.
Why is that?
They needed to optimize it for the 3DS. I just didn't enjoy it at all. The visuals were not optimized for that screen, and it made it hard to look at, and it made it hard to play, as far as I was concerned.
The controls are tough, for sure.
Yeah, and just even...
Are you saying they basically just dragged and dropped it from the Wii?
Asshole. But no, it's exactly
the resolution down to
exactly what Kevin just said. I mean, where they had to where you have to redo assets, obviously, for a screen that size. It really didn't feel like they did. So everything's just shimmering and shaking all the time, and the color
sounds like my kind of party.
Color palette was no good for it, and it just everything was too small on the screen, and I just gave up on it.
You gonna give Xenoblade Chronicles X a try whenever that comes out?
Yeah.
Dude, that game looks
It looks incredible.
Shout out to Jason Bento, who's a guy that I hang out with in Tokyo, and Greg and I were talking to him the other day, doing like a weird hangout thing. But he literally, when he was in Japan, bought the Wii bundle with Xenoblade Chronicles X, and he was streaming some of it. That game is incredible. It looks so good on the Wii U hardware, and the soundtrack is just... I know I'm brought up soundtracks like 8 times today, but the music in a game that you're going to be playing for 100 hours is super important. And
Sure.
if you look at what they did on Xenoblade Chronicles, it is, I believe it is this the same team that went and did the music for the second game. So, it's so good. I can't wait to get the soundtrack for that game.
It does suck that the Wii U is in such a position where not many people are gonna get to even get the chance to play that game. Or
I'll team up with you guys when that game comes out. We'll put together a team so we can rank up faster and stuff. It'll be fun.
Oh, is that how that game works? I don't even.
You put together like a clan of people,
right on.
and you can, and it's not even like you have to play at the same time.
No,
Oh, you just
Right.
It's asynchronous.
team goals where
Cool.
you're not playing in the same.
Isn't that super cool?
That's a good idea.
environment. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I wish they do that in Phantasy Star 2. Oh my god, I'm playing Phantasy Star 2.
Yeah, that game looks really great.
What a grind. What a grind.
Yeah. Shall we play?
Shall we play what you've been watching?
Shall we move into what you've been playing? I think we should.
Yeah.
Kevin, since you're a guest here, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I mean, I'll run through a couple things real quick. None of these are brand new releases. Persona 4 Golden on the PlayStation Vita. It's a hot new Japanese RPG from 2008 that was imported to the PlayStation Vita, and I've been traveling a lot, so I've been on the plane with my PlayStation Vita and getting through this game at a crazy pace right now. I put about 12 hours to it in the last week and a half, which is a ton of gaming for me at this point right now. And that game is incredible. It is outstanding. It is a blast. I'm like 45 hours into it right now, and I'm getting really close to the end. And the only thing that I can really say in terms of a negative is that I get a little disconnected when I'm playing through that game and I get to the big boss battle, and then you basically have kind of nothing to do for up to 10 days in the game. That time is there for you to build social links and to do things like side quests in the game, but for me, in an RPG, I need to be told where to go. I need to make sure that we keep going, because when these games slow down, that's where I'm like, I'm just going to swipe out of this. I'm going to play something else. But I'm really close to the finish line, and there's one dungeon. If you played that game, there's one dungeon that's really like made for me in terms of like retro games and stuff like that, with incredible references and an outstanding piece of music for the dungeon, and an awesome boss battle at the end, which will make anyone who's a fan of 3D dot game heroes be like, oh man, this is great. I mean, I wish more games had cool things like this, but their universe that they've created in this game allows them to pretty much do whatever they want in these dungeons. They can have so much diversity through these dungeons that every time you go into a different one, it's just so much vastly different, and there's new music, and the characters and storylines are just really, really great. It's a game that's $20. You should go pick it up if you have a PlayStation Vita and take the time to start playing through it.
Cool. Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Can you take 1 second and stop transforming robots? Because I hear transforming.
It's like a constant little clicking in the background.
For what it's worth,
Somebody's grinding their teeth.
the Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
So there.
That was going to be my next guess.
Oh no!
After putting together Lego
See?
stuff. So Persona 4 Golden. Yeah, a lot of hours spent. That's why I don't play those games.
I've been playing through it. I looked at my first save files from like 2.5 years ago. It was like when the Vita launched, and I'm still chipping away at it little by little. But when I do swipe away from it, I've been playing Umihara Kwase.
Is that the Sayonara?
Sayonara, whatever edition. I actually have the little
I have no idea
special
what this
Japanese pre-order figure.
Nice. I was into that game when it was just known as the fishbowl game, man.
Fishbowl game, totally. Like this game, and it's obviously it was originally a Super Famicom game that another one of those Japanese-only games that is really cool that never made it over here, but they released it on the Vita. It's a new game that runs at 60 frames per second. It's a lot of fun, and it also has the original Super Famicom version as well. Also, yes, I know it's like for $20 on PSN. It's a really good deal, but I was in Japan when it came out, so I got the physical release because why not? I'm a dumbass that buys most PlayStation
on
games.
US PSN?
Correct.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm gonna have to grab that.
Yeah, it's a shame Bettenhausen.
A few weeks ago.
I think he pulled to get that game on there, and it came out day and date as it did in Japan, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, that's cool because I mean, that's one of the sort of Famicom cartridges I'd like to get at some point. But if it's on there, then I just it's so great. Like the music is fantastic, but the gameplay is just so unique. Like it is not. I know CJ can back me up on this. Like it's not like just you're buying a commando, grapple hook kind of mechanic because you also have like a bungee to this line, so you have to like get really cool weird angles, and then you have control if you're hanging to get that bungee mechanic to work in your favor. At the same time, it has a really good like speed run mechanic where you're going to try to run through these levels as fast as possible, and it is a great like these levels are short. They're like a minute long. You can play through a bunch of them, and it is just a perfect portable game. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna get that tonight.
What's the game called again?
Sayonara Umihara Kawase Shun or whatever.
Yes, or whatever.
Or whatever.
You say or whatever like you don't know what it is, but you just
like I don't know.
Exactly.
The Famicom game is actually really, really great, and if you want to take a look at it before you pick it up, at least the Super Famicom game, there's a really good episode of Game Center CX, Greg, which I know you started getting into, that is translated online. You can search for that and find it on the internet, and you can see a Japanese man just get incredibly frustrated by not being able to control the girl using a fishbowl.
Yeah, that was one of the games that Awesome Games Done Quick has done a couple of times in their charity runs. So, yes, indeed.
That's one of the games that I was considering like a repro card for or something.
No, I mean you can get the Super Famicom version for like $40. It's not expensive at all.
Oh, really? I thought it was more expensive than that.
No.
How much is the Vita version?
$20.
Okay.
That sounds like the version I'll get.
Yeah.
Also playing through the Goonies. Go play the Goonies on the Famicom.
Yeah.
I was excited when I was playing Kid Dracula today. I was so excited because that's the first Famicom game I own. Never had a Famicom.
Nice.
I have a whole box that.
I know you do. I've been waiting for you to
of.
tell me what you're going to send me.
I've gone Famicom crazy over the last couple months. I think I'm up to like 120 games and just spent $250.
Kevin was talking about us doing a weird hangout with him and Jason and I the other night. That's what it was. It was us watching him clean his Famicom games.
I got a really good deal on 60 Famicom carts for like they came to like $2.50 a piece after shipping. And,
nice.
I just sniped it. It was a good lot of stuff. But the back of my play audience, I know people hate about. Patreon or you ask for money, but the couple of people from the back of my play audience were really cool and they helped me put together money to get a copy of Gimmick, which I'm going to be doing 2 episodes on down the road because that obviously it's a Sunsoft game that has special FM synth chip in it, and if you haven't heard the music of Gimmick, again go to YouTube and check it out because it is probably the best music on the Famicom, tied with Akumajo Dracula, Castlevania 3. So that's it.
Nice.
Thank you, folks, for helping that.
Absolutely. All right, Greg. You want to tell us about Project Cars?
Yeah, you guys can all go to sleep while I go through this. Actually, a friend of the show, Pete Dodd, and I were invited on to Operation Sports with Rich Grisham to talk about Project Cars because that was sort of a big release for us car people. And even if you hear more in depth, if you care about this, I would go download the latest episode of that because Pete and I had a pretty in-depth conversation about it. It was kind of cool. All I'll say is it's an interesting game because it's entirely crowd-funded and kind of crowd-developed in a way too. I mean, the whole point of this game is basically that they were sick of the whole publisher developer aspect of AAA games where you're basically taking out a loan against royalties to make your game and then hoping for the best and taking on all the risk. So I think it's been 4 or 5 years in the making, but basically what they ended up doing was crowdfunding a racing game, like a Gran Turismo style game. And what they've come up with is it's a nice package. It's got a stupid number of tracks. I mean, it doesn't outdo Gran Turismo 6, but it's still got an incredible number of tracks, and a lot of different cars as well. That being said, the PS4 and Xbox One versions were delayed by over a year, and I have to say that they feel like they were pushed out the door. They weren't really done yet. When I played the first night I played it, one of the reasons I got it was because it was supposedly compatible with my Fanatic Porsche GT2 wheel, which I haven't used since the PS4 and Xbox One came out because they technically weren't supposed to be compatible. But after setting it all up on the first night and sitting down and trying to play it, it never worked. So my entire first experience with the game was complete frustration. And of course, because it's a new game, it doesn't have a manual. It's digital manual. So when I went to see if I could figure out what the option screens did, of course, the digital manual option that you pick in the game is just a window to the website. And the options screen description on that window is, yeah, we got lots of options, pretty much. So, but that's like a general manual. So down below, it's like a PS4 and Xbox One specific manuals. Oh, great! I'll click on that. Not compatible with the PS4. They're doc files, so you can't read them on your console. So you have to actually download them on your computer. So I did that, and of course opened it up, and what did it say in the option screen? But yeah, we got lots of options in this game. So that was frustrating. And just in general, it's got some wonky physics, and the controls are really touchy, and everything's just super finicky on the track. So after the first night, I turned it off in frustration, did some research, and realized, yeah, they have tons of compatibility issues with the wheels. So I put my wheel back away, and I won't touch that for a month or so. But then after a couple nights, I went back and tried it again, and I went online and I found a couple of sliders settings for controls. Because one of the things about this game, you can tell it's been crowdfunded, because it's got a stupid amount of detail in the option screens. But you don't even know what half of it does if you're not like a really hardcore sim racer kind of person. So anyway, I found some controller settings I wanted to try. I checked them out, and I totally fell in love with the game the second night I played it. It's just one of those games where there's a really good experience in there, but it's buried deep. And you kind of have to accept some of the warts, especially when it comes to the physics. But if you can get past that, and you can find a control setup that you like, it's really a really gratifying game. It does a lot of stuff that I've been waiting for console racers to do for a long time, especially with the number of cars on the track. So yeah, I went from like absolutely hating it one night to 48 hours later being like, I'm so happy that this game is finally out. I can't wait to play more of it. So for anybody who's considering it, that's kind of my warning, I guess, is like, if you turn it on and you don't do anything to the control settings, you're going to hate it. But if you're willing to look for a good game in there, spend like an hour or so fiddling with it, you might find something really special. But that's pretty much all I have to say about it, really.
All right, then.
And go listen to the latest episode of Operation Sports. Go way more in depth about it. Me and Pete Dodd and Rich Grisham.
All right.
All I was really playing this week.
What would you recommend right now? What's it called? Burnout Paradise is $4.95 on PSN.
I can't stand Burnout Paradise.
What? You don't like Burnout? Do you like? Oh, okay. Do you like Burnout Takedown? Burnout 3?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He likes actual
one of my favorite
Burnout
games. It's one of my favorite games.
But you hate.
I hate
Paradise.
Burnout Paradise.
What about Revenge?
Yeah.
Revenge is great.
Open
Okay,
world
so
burnout
you
was a
guys-
bad idea.
Open world Burnout doesn't work for me.
No.
Just doesn't work. I tried really hard to like that game and I didn't.
Doesn't work for
Honestly,
me either,
I
and I bought it
haven't-
on 2 consoles.
I haven't liked any of the open world criteria.
I'm having like a weird flashback where I remember playing through that game and listening to you guys talk about this now. But
Yeah.
it's only $5. Go pick it up.
It has
not
the
worth it.
only one redeeming quality
The
game.
Guns N' Roses soundtrack?
No, I was gonna say the DeLorean Back to the Future
Yeah.
like thing in there. That's pretty awesome.
DJ Striker.
Striker. Yeah, whatever.
Uh,
I wonder where that guy is now. Where's DJ Striker in 2015?
Wasn't he like a DJ in LA? Something like that?
Probably.
I thought
An actual DJ?
Like an actual DJ, right. So I've been playing a little game on iOS.
Yeah.
Made by the...
Comes the commercial.
Yeah.
This episode brought to you by...
Released by the fine folks at Adult Swim Games. It's called Tofu Hunter.
Oh, I downloaded that.
Oh, you did? Excellent.
I did.
High five. There we go.
Is this free to play?
This is a free-to-play
hunting
game, yes, where you are shooting at tofu beasts. The concept of the game is that you've been lied to for years, and that in reality tofu are animals also, and you're shooting them for sport.
I do like that idea.
That is a kick-ass premise for a game. That's great. I love that.
Yes. So we had released this game on Flash 5 years ago. Actually, the day that I got married, we released that on the website. So April Fool's Day 2010. And people liked the game on Flash when people were playing games on the web, which they don't do anymore. And we had been looking for someone to bring it to mobile, and we hooked up with developer Paw Print Games, and they had a really good pitch on it, expanding the idea and making it all nice looking for mobile. So it's finally out.
Tofu sucks.
On iOS.
Shoot the shit out of tofu in this game all day. Sorry.
It's on iOS and Android. We did sort of a simultaneous release on this, so they were only there was only a day between the two versions. So yeah, it's finally available. Go play it because it is an excellent little shooting gallery game.
You guys have a ton of awesome games in your lineup now. Like Adult Swim Games is seriously like getting, to that top tier of publishers. Was it Westerado? Is another game? Oh my god!
Double Barreled is an excellent game.
Holy crap! I saw a video of that on Giant Bomb, and I need to get that game. It is just, again, it's almost like these games are always the feel is just fun. It's just always a blast. The games don't take themselves seriously, and it is just. I just love the trend. I really love to see what you guys are doing. I mean, not to like suck up, but it's just because every single one of those games is coming from Adult Swim right now. They're just ridiculous, awesome fun that you can pick up on your iPhone or on your PC. It's just really cool to see.
Well, thank you very much.
Westerado, go check that game out. See a video.
Westerado, Double Barreled.
Yeah,
my favorite games that we've done. It's really great. Actually, yeah, we got a lot of interesting stuff coming. So
very cool.
Some announced and some unannounced. Really great stuff.
Hey, CJ.
Yeah.
So people don't play Flash games on the web anymore?
No, not really.
Are you gonna? You guys need to bring that Rick and Morty game to iOS.
I don't know. Maybe.
Get cracking.
What about Ed, and Eddie?
I was wondering when someone was gonna bring that one up.
Mine was a legit request.
That was a staple of this show for a long time.
That really was.
The Ed and Eddie days.
Yeah,
it really was. Anyway, yeah, Tofu Hunter, go play that.
And why doesn't Batman dance anymore?
The Batuzzi.
Remember the Batuzzi?
All right, and I've also been playing Nintendo's free-to-start game Stretchmo, developed by Intelligent Systems. This is the fourth game in the Pushmo series.
In the Mo series.
In the Mo series, yeah.
Let me ask you this, CJ.
What's that?
Did you actually have it free to start, or did you just immediately purchase it?
I just as soon as the robot popped up and asked for money, I bought it. I was like, I don't even need to hear about anything else. Just lay it on me. I'm buying all the packs.
So you didn't haggle, like with Rusty?
No.
I
did not haggle.
I sat there for about 10 minutes yelling at my 3DS trying to get him to lower the price, but
it didn't work.
It's a no-go. Yeah.
A no-go on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty incredible value, though. Even if you only buy one of the packs, like the Mallow stages it's like 100 levels for $5. That's super good. Super good value.
Yup.
And like Pushmo before it, you are pushing and pulling blocks out of a structure to try to climb to the top. And once again, of course, children have been caught in the blocks, and you have to save them. So.
Now let me ask you this, CJ.
Yeah.
Now you liked Pushmo.
I love Pushmo.
I really enjoyed Pushmo as well. I have not played. Was it Pushmo World? Is that the Wii U one?
Yeah,
I have not played that one.
That's really good.
You like it? Does it follow the Pushmo mechanics?
Stretchmo? Or
No,
Pushmo World?
Pushmo World.
Yeah, it's exactly Pushmo.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I was not a big fan of Crashmo.
Me neither.
Okay. So where does Stretchmo fall for you?
Stretchmo is right up there with Crashmo for me.
Wait, you don't like it?
No, I'm sorry, Pushmo.
Okay, because I was
confused now.
I meant Pushmo.
There's too many mo's in this conversation.
Because I'm digging Stretchmo.
Yeah, I'm digging Stretchmo too.
Yes.
It is awesome, and the mechanic is somewhat different. You instead of actually moving the blocks around, you're merely pulling. You're pulling parts of them out.
Yes.
Up to too wide or too deep.
Yep.
Too fast, too furious.
When I pull it out, it's about too deep as well.
Jesus.
What? Didn't fill in your own blanks there?
Wow.
I'm ashamed of myself for even taking that bait.
Thank you.
So I've done about 60 or so levels. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Of Stretchmo. The first one, and then because one of the packs is exclusively pixel art from Nintendo NES games.
Yes.
Yeah, I started on that, and that is really good as well. Those
are hard,
quite challenging, but pretty excellent. And they have there's sort of a difficulty thing where if you haven't gotten to that point in the normal game, they let you do 5 stages, and if you can do those, then the next 5 open up. If you can do 10, then all of them open up. So all of the rest of that pack will open up as soon as you prove yourself worthy.
Now, how many of the NES stages have you done so far?
Only 1.
Okay, because I'm working on some of those right now. I've actually finished the first 9.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Look at you.
And the game does mention that if you get 10 stages, you
get something special.
Yeah, so
yeah.
You don't know what that is yet, do you?
No.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
Why are we wasting our time?
I don't know, but it is a pretty great game. If you've never played Pushmo, I would suggest you check this out, because, hey, it's free to start.
Yeah.
So,
and you get to play, what,
5 stages?
5 stages for free? Okay.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah. No, it's not much.
It's not much before they want you to pay, but, it's worth it. It's worth checking out.
I agree.
So, yeah. Kevin, are you a fan? Have you played any of the Pushmo games previously?
Oh, Pushmo is incredible. I love Pushmo. It's super addictive, and I didn't hear about this again because it was announced over the weekend, but I'm literally downloading it as we speak, and it's one of those things where even though if it is I'm not even kidding. I set up it's literally downloading, but it's a game that just from hearing your impressions, I don't even want to deal with the free to play stuff. I'm just gonna buy it. Once I open it up, but it's fascinating. I think it's Nintendo's testing the waters. They're dipping their toe in and seeing what works. And hell, it's as long as they're giving you the option, just unlock it right away and not have to deal with the free to play stuff. I'm totally cool with that.
It's so interesting to me that people say why don't any companies do demos anymore? And Nintendo
why doesn't Batman dance anymore?
Yeah, exactly. Nintendo, oddly enough, has they've offered demos of some of their bigger games, and they're doing this free to start thing, which has come to the 3DS, and I like it.
Do you know if they're going to do it for Puzzle and Dragons and Mario, and the Mario one?
They have a demo on that one.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
they've had a demo up on that for couple weeks now.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, no
2 or
way.
3
Okay,
weeks.
so again,
Yeah.
it's just like me not turning on my 3DS for the last couple of weeks.
No.
Yes, and actually, Stretchmo was sort of a surprise release. Like, the Japanese version came out last week, and then it just kind of appeared in Europe, and it
Yeah.
wasn't even on the press release of releases for North America, and then suddenly at like 2 p.m. they're like, hey, Stretchmo's out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was a weird release, but
I'm glad it's here, though.
Some
Yeah.
good games on sale this week too. You guys should go and check out the eShop.
what Capcom's games are on sale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
pretty good stuff.
they still make good games. They're not like Konami.
Yeah, wait until that press release comes out, because a Capcom something similar is gonna.
At the end of
Yeah.
the day, like I got, and again, just from back in my play, like I got lots of tweets from people like, oh, what do you think, about Konami now? I'm like, well, Konami hasn't really made name a game in the last 5 years that you gave a crap that Konami made, because Metal Gear Solid 4 came out in 2008, and you got to keep in mind, up until this point, these old games that they published, they're still there. Go buy them. Go buy them, on eBay or whatever. Get them on the Virtual Console, because you can be mad at Konami now, but they just have an incredible lineup of old games that you can still buy on all these awesome consoles. Like, go check out the MSX. Just saying. All right, so I downloaded 2 games so far.
I went to
No,
GameStop and they didn't have any MSXs in.
They didn't? Well, they're
No,
taking
that's
used
surprising.
games now. But
Oh,
also,
yeah, that's
you
true.
can always, just go to, Tokyo. You don't go to Tokyo twice a year?
Fly to Japan.
Jeez. You can give me a list, Phil, although I'm not going to
I'm-
pick you up in an MSX.
I'm when I go to Japan twice a year, I'm usually a little too busy at the Love Hotels to
Yeah?
spend. Yeah,
The onsens? You like going to the onsens?
I like a hot spring now and then.
I hear
Why
you're a
not?
Soapland guy, really.
Huh?
So,
What's that?
Nothing.
What is it?
Go ahead, Phil. Tell us about what you've been playing.
Well, eShop, there was a stealth release this week of a sequel to Pushmo. I don't know if you've seen.
We just talked
I
about
don't
it.
know if you've seen. It's called. I don't know. There's got to be something funny there.
Stretch Armstrong.
No.
Is it Double Dragon Neon? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
talk about Double Dragon Neon. That's a great game.
Great.
Double Dragon Neon's a pretty fun game.
Great. Did you hate that game?
I did it first,
All right.
and then I got to play it multiplayer and realized that that's how you're supposed to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Jay
got-
Kaufman bringing the soundtrack ruckus with that one.
And Skeletor is your bad guy, essentially.
Yeah.
Come on. In addition to Stretchmo, you know what I played against, and I wish Mike was here. Nothing against Kevin, because okay,
Do you wanna talk
ideally,
about
Honestly, it sounded like that
Polygon
statement had
article?
everything against Kevin.
ideally, Greg would be here. Greg would not be here. Kevin would be here for Greg, and then Mike would be here.
That hurts me.
That's my it's meant to, but I only wish Mike was here because I played a game that he recommended last week. I downloaded Does Not Commute for the iOS,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to bother going on about what the game is, because you can listen to last week's episode if you really need a refresher. But that's a really fun game. It's actually really, really quite good. And it just has this kind of weird sort of narrative stretching through it that Mike talked about last time. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you like games that are akin to the flight control, as Mike said, it's well worth picking up. So, and well, it's free too. So
Exactly.
This is even better.
Free to start.
so, free to start. But the other game I started playing this week is the Wolfenstein. Have you seen that game?
Yeah.
Heard of it.
Not the new one, not the downloadable.
Not the new
one.
old one?
Not the. Yeah, what is it? The Old Blood?
Yes.
Is that the downloadable one? No, I started playing the New Order,
Awesome.
which I have not played before. I picked it up Black Friday on the cheap, just because I've always enjoyed the Wolfenstein games. And when Old Blood came out, that kind of got me, oh yeah, I still have that game sitting on my shelf. I should try it out. And yeah, so I'm a couple missions into that so far. And that's a really, really good game. I don't know if any of you guys have played it.
Oh, I love that game. That game kicks ass.
Yeah, it's, I mean, like I said, I'm maybe on the third or fourth mission right now.
It gets way better.
Oh, yeah? Well, because I'm digging it so far. I'm really digging it right now.
It is the perfect mix of old school, over the top, just blowing the shit out of everything.
Right.
And also, there's actually a really good backstory for these characters, and I'm just a sucker for any kind of, like, whether it be parallel universe or alternate history type storyline. So, I mean, that, scratches that itch, and there's lots of really cool touches, awesome boss battles, and you never really feel like it's unfair. Which is kind of like what you would see in those older games, like whether it be the old PC first-person shooters. Like at some point they just get super hard, and then you just type in your cheat codes and then blow through the rest of the game. But with this, I just constantly there would be some boss battles where you'd have to try a couple times, but then you would start learning those patterns, and it's just amazing that it is like a 14-hour campaign. Like it is super long.
I noticed that because. Yeah, like the couple missions I've finished so far, it's been about an hour or so for each mission, and I was looking, and I think there's like 16 missions or something like that. So yeah, it's a pretty meaty game, and there's a part early on, and I don't really want to. I mean, it's an old game. Well, not old, but it's been out for a few months now, but I don't want to get like super spoilery. But there's a moment. Early on in the game where you have to make this kind of choice, and then the game kind of splits into two different timelines. Now, did you play through both timelines, Kevin?
No.
Okay.
I have my canonical timeline in my head, and I just...
Okay. And Sam, is there any like real difference between the two other than...
I couldn't answer that. I know there was a lot of talk of that when it initially came out, but it's been so long. Like it feels like it's been, it's been like 6-7 months since that game came out. So it's been a while. I just have forgotten at this point.
Okay, which path did you choose?
I don't even remember.
Oh man, see,
this is the thing that happens. You start.
Yeah.
I remember having a great time playing through that game, and I remember choice few moments, and there's some things that people can point out and say, this is ridiculous, and it is not good storytelling. It's just, it's showing that video game developers do not know how to tell a real story without, just showing, like there is a sex scene in the game. And, again, one of the things that kind of bugged me when there was initial people talking about this, like, that's totally not needed. Like, there's just to, show 14-year-olds tits and stuff like that. But, when you look at these...
Wait. Show tits to 14-year-olds.
Okay. Yeah, that are playing this game because their kids let them buy.
Right.
I'm okay with it.
It's not exposing...
Yeah, that totally that came out wrong.
14-year-olds. We just want to clarify that.
No, showing tits to 14-year-olds specifically.
Because we know the government listens to all of these podcasts now, so we
I don't even care if the government's listening. It just came out wrong.
Yeah, well, she's a very mature woman.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
How is this even... This is you guys making this ridiculous. So obviously, I don't even know that I misspoke, but I guess I did. So... with that being said, I will say that if you go in it taking the storyline seriously and understanding like what these people have gone through, you might think it's like a really cheap scene. But I thought it was well done, and I think it's I wouldn't get hung up on stuff like that. But again, that was just stuff that came out when it originally was released. But don't let that bug you. Just keep going and enjoying the awesome action in that game.
Okay. Very cool. Like I said, I'm hoping to finish it at some point eventually.
Keep at
There you
it.
go.
Just blast through
yeah.
the hard parts. Just keep playing because there's some
Right.
amazing set pieces, some great scenes, and really cool ending. Really, really cool ending.
Oh, cool. Okay. I will keep at it then. And that's really about it as far as what
Okay.
I've been playing.
Alrighty, we've been running long, so let's do. There are like 2 tweets that I think we should do this week, so limit it
Okay.
to 2 and save the rest for another time. Let's do this one from hacker alias Sean Nola, who says, "Favorite Saturn at E3 memories, if any of you were there back then." And favorite Saturn games and E3 memories in honor of their overlooked shared 20th anniversary.
This could be a whole show.
I don't know about you guys. I was, I think, a senior in high school.
Yeah, I wasn't at E3.
I was not at E3. I was working at Babbage's at the time, though, and
Yes.
recall that our manager
It was an interesting day.
got like the got the printout of what was coming in the next day, and it was the Saturn and like 5 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
And at first I did not believe it. Like a coworker of mine, Josh, who I also went to high school with, said, "Yeah, call up Dave over at the store. He'll tell you the same thing. The Saturn is coming out tomorrow." I was like, that is some bullshit right there. We all know it's coming out in September. So I called up Dave from the phone in my high school library and was like, "Is this true? Is it really coming out?" And yes, they had gotten a little thing and unpacked the box, and indeed it was there. And I was working that night, so got to enjoy the Saturn.
Did you buy one?
I did buy one on launch day. Yeah.
Awesome.
I was saving for mine, so the surprise launch actually kind of... I wasn't ready. I didn't have enough money. I was working at Microplay at the time, and I ended up sort of putting mine on layaway, so I'd come into work every day and see it sitting there, but I couldn't take it home until I paid it off.
I put mine on parental layaway. My parents loaned me the money, and I paid them back.
Nice.
Ah,
I would never do that.
So...
But I remember renting it that summer because when it was launched, we didn't get things on launch day up here. So, but there was a rental store in town that actually managed to get one with the games, like the next week. So we ended up renting it with all the games there that time, and that was so awesome, so great.
So CJ, like I'm guess it's just the sign of the times that you guys got that information a day before it was announced at E3, and it was still quiet. Like
that would be all over the internet today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do that today.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the first E3 I went to, I think, was the tail end of the... It was 97 was the first year I went.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the tail end of the Saturn, wasn't it? Wasn't that the last real year for the Saturn? Wasn't that the year that, like, the House of the Dead and Burning Rangers and all that stuff came out? I think it was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was kind of cool because I seem to remember those being there.
Well, they had them there, and then
Greg.
they filled the rest of their booth with Sega arcade games because they had nothing else.
Right. What did you say there, Kevin?
I became a teenager that year.
Wow.
It's a big year for me.
I started my 20s that year.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Womp womp womp.
That's all right. You guys have done lots of cool stuff that I haven't done. So.
And Atlanta sucked for E3.
That's so true. That was the worst.
I missed out on the Atlanta E3s.
Oh, you didn't miss anything.
You didn't miss anything. No, it was terrible.
I can't imagine being...
I would never, ever come back to it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it seems like the worst possible place anyone could be. I can't imagine why anyone would go
Now, of course,
to Atlanta.
Did you guys ever get to go to the Nintendo World stuff that they were doing out in Tokyo?
CJ went.
I went to a couple
I didn't.
Shoshinkais, yeah.
That must have been pretty cool.
Worlds. Yeah, that was awesome. I was there for the unveiling of the GameCube, which was excellent.
Oh, very cool.
Toon Link. You were there for the unveiling of Toon Link, weren't you?
I was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a lot of fun because the GameCube was super under wraps. Like they did not reveal anything about that system before the reveal at that show, and it was amazing.
I remember the E3. I know it was the year that they showed the GameCube for the first time, or the year before. They had a light show going against the back wall of the Nintendo booth, and there was like 2 seconds of a dolphin jumping. It was like that was the tease.
Great. I'm already getting tweets from people that were watching the show talking about my inappropriate comments.
Sorry. Good times. So yeah, Phil, you were working at Babbage's at the same time I was, right?
I was.
Saturn release.
Yep. Yes, indeed. That was like I said, a strange day.
Very strange.
We didn't really know what to make of it. I did not get one right away. I can't remember if we had hooked one up to our TVs that we had in the store and just had a game running on a loop, or if we had a videotape or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'd had like Panzer Dragoon running just so people could see that, and because that was really the most impressive launch game.
So
I would say,
yeah,
definitely. You know, a lot of people say that the early release of the Saturn is what doomed Sega. Do you guys agree with that?
It was a major part of it.
Yeah, it wasn't a great move.
No. Way to piss off the retailers that you didn't include.
Yeah.
If they hadn't done that, maybe they could have overcome the goodwill that Sony had been building with the developers at the time.
That's true.
It was kind of a 1-2 punch.
Although the 32X, that was a real misstep.
Yeah, that should never have happened.
No. All right, hacker alias Ron P says, mainly for Greg, after today's charity marathon, are there any consistent attributes of 8-bit games that you miss in modern games? This is also a good one for Kevin.
I mean, there's a sort of the level of simplicity, I guess. I mean, indie games are kind of bringing that back now, but I don't just mean the visuals. I just mean like I love like today I fired up 24 games, probably at least 15 or so, which I either never played before or hadn't played in 20 years, and it was so easy to pick up any of them and know what to do. And you know what I mean, like with 2 buttons and just looking at the screen and being able to play and know that. Just know what you're supposed to be doing. Whereas, you know, like AAA games now are so in depth and so detailed.
Yeah.
Got like 20 buttons to deal with and everything. So it's just kind of the simplicity of it. Just being able to, you know, plug in the cartridge and go. Like it's funny because they all came with manuals and you never read them, and now nothing comes with a manual and everything needs one.
Yeah.
You know, like, or just these endless tutorials. Like whereas the games I played today, you turn them on, you press start, and you were going. There wasn't like a bunch of hand holding. There wasn't a bunch of tutorials. They if they had to teach you things, the good ones were built so that you learned them based on experiencing it, as opposed to like the Mario games. The Mario games were great for that, right? I mean,
We still do that.
yeah, exactly. So that's probably what I miss the most about that stuff.
Okay, Kevin.
No, I think Greg is 100% on point with that, and it's why I still haven't gone and picked up a PS4 and an Xbox One again at this point, because I'm still looking down the road at what's coming out on those consoles, and I think the big ones are still like when Uncharted 4 and Halo 5 come, those are going to be really strong considerations for me picking up that hardware again. But for me, I'm having the most fun video game wise going through all these games. Like there's still so many outstanding games that I have not played across all these consoles, like on the, not even just talking like Japanese only games, but still on the Genesis, and it's from watching stuff like Generation 16 and watching stuff like Game Center CX, where I'm like, oh my god, like that game looks great, and I haven't even played it before, this is a whole new game for me at this point, and it's one of the reasons why I'm always kind of disappointed about Virtual Console, because there's so many great games that all these people who didn't have. I mean, you were a Nintendo kid or a Sega kid. I mean, if you weren't even the TurboGrafx kid or the Neo Geo kid, all these great games that are out there today and that you can pick up for the most part relatively inexpensively, especially if you buy like a big lot from Japan, or you do some shopping out there. That's where I'm having the most fun right now, and it's just because, like Greg was saying, it's just to boot up a console, and it sounds so lazy. Booting up a console, booting up a disc, even if it's a digital version that I have from my PlayStation Plus, you see 14 loading screens with a bunch of different logos. You load up the game, it then loads to get you into the game, and then you got to make enough progress to make sure that you can then save again if there isn't saving at any point. So, and it's things like the Super EverDrive and the Mega EverDrive, like being able to buy some of these games and then get like what you guys are doing with the Retron 5s, like being able to get the translated version of those things and playing them on real hardware or something that's close to it, for things that we didn't get, is it's also super fascinating to take a look at that stuff, because there's so many great Japanese games that just weren't translated over here, whether it be RPGs or even action games, that you just need to know a little bit of Japanese or have it translated to play. And if you want to just take a look at some old games, jump on eBay, look up Famicom and Super Famicom and Mega Drive and PC Engine. So much great stuff.
And that's true. Yeah. You don't need the games that are super expensive right now. I mean, a lot of those are really great games, but that doesn't denote the stuff that's not super again,
most of the great games are super cheap.
Yeah,
because they sold a ton of copies of them, and again, like I said, I'm looking at a stack of Konami games right now for the Famicom, like the original Goonies, which is just kind of a simpler version of Goonies 2, which is, it's really kind of an arcade game for that versus Unisystem thing, but or the Konami YY World games, Kid Dracula, the awesome cool variants of, like in Konami, like for Contra, like there's cutscenes in the Famicom version. There's there's an extra sound channel or whatever in the Famicom version where there's just better drums in it. So, and even if you want to get into old NES games, like getting a copy of DuckTales 2 is going to be a lot cheaper on Famicom than the NES. So if there's games like that are simple enough, go look and see if they're cheaper on the other console. You can always get an adapter. And I apologize, I'll wrap up with this. One of the things that I'm really fascinated about right now, and I'm talking to this guy, Wes, who what he does now is he gets old video game hardware and he modifies it for current television setups and builds them to last for another 20 years by refurbishing them. So you're still playing this stuff on original hardware, but he's building things like RGB outputs into Super Nintendos, Sega Genesises. So you don't need anything like a FrameMeister. He's building it into it, and it's cheap. Like I have him. He's sending me. I bought one of his Famicoms that he's AV modded in the back, and at the same time it cleans up all the jail bar issues that you see in other Famicom, hardware. So he's not only just modifying for AV stuff. He's also like going in and refurbishing the controllers, making sure like the microphone works on your Famicom controller, and for some of the stuff like Game Gears, putting new life into them, capping the soundboards, because there's all these little things that are coming up after being out there for 20, 25 years that are popping up. He's fixing all this stuff, putting it in like brand new condition, but it is at super reasonable prices, and I can't wait to talk to him and just see what people should keep an eye out for how you can modify this hardware so it doesn't look like absolute garbage on your HD TV.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So yeah, I'm excited about games again now. I'm pumped.
Awesome.
I know it took a couple weeks.
All right, I think we should end with that.
Okay,
I like it. Good place to end. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information, Generation 16 episodes.
I'm about halfway through the edit on the latest one, and I'm really excited about the segment I just finished, so I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Blog entries about Sega CD stuff also from Mr. Stewart.
Someday.
Someday, yeah. And a message board where you can discuss this very episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting PlayerOnePodcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
I think Finn's trying to burst in here.
Probably
We have limited time.
There's like an alien back there.
Pick up the Player One Podcast. iPhone application gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you.
You did it.
Voicemails this week, though, folks. We also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And
Doors moving. It's hilarious.
They're in the room, man.
Come on.
They're in the room.
I'm calling from in the house.
It's available for your Android device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
Over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher. We're on the YouTubes, youtube.com/P1Podcast. We are on Facebook. You can like us. You can join Steam group. You can. What else can you do? You can do all sorts of stuff with us. We don't mind. We're cool with it. And let's see. Oh, you can head over to Patreon. Money.
Sure can.
Patreon.com/P1Podcast. If you like what you heard, and how could you? You can throw us a little bit of coin. We will gladly take it, and maybe one day we'll do game clubs that we say we're going to do.
Probably not.
For your hard-earned money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have a little left over, head on over to generation-16.com. You'll find a link to Greg Stewart's thing as well.
You can also find Kevin Larry
Patreon.
over there.
Well, you didn't. You didn't let me finish, Greg. CJ.
Yes?
Thank you.
No problem. Thank
Greg?
you, Phil.
Yo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Greg. No, seriously.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. And super special, awesome, double thanks to the magnificent Kevin Larrabee. Kevin Larrabee, tell everyone where they can find you on the internet.
Well, I mean, if you like video games of the older variety, do a podcast called Back in My Play, where we talk about old games. The last episode I did was with Kurt Collada on Konami YY World 2, and we talk about why it is the probably the best unknown Famicom game out there, especially if you've enjoyed the wonderful Konami franchises of the NES Famicom era. Just incredible stuff there. And like I mentioned before, the next couple episodes will be with Wes talking about how you can potentially save your current hardware and upgrades that you can make to it, and things that you could do prevention-wise to make sure that that hardware lasts another 20 years. Also, we're going to be doing 2 episodes with Gimmick. One is going to be with Mohammed from Brave Wave, where we're going to be talking just about kind of the music of Gimmick and its composer, and probably in general talking about some music just from Sunsoft and their Famicom output, just because they did a lot of cool stuff with extra sound chips, kind of like Konami did as well out in Japan. And then I'm going to be doing an episode as well with Kurt Collada and Peter Brown on the game itself, like the gameplay of Gimmick. So that's probably going to be something that I'm going to smash my head up against for a while, because that game is pretty difficult. But yeah, like I said, backinmyplay.com, at Kevin Larrabee, and do have a Patreon. And like I would say, you're listening to this show, so go support the Player One guys. Don't worry about Back in My Play, just because they put out this show every single week, no matter what. And again, it does help pay the funds when it comes to bandwidth and stuff like that. Like seriously, it's we talked about this kind of off air, but we're talking about like a percentage of the less than probably 1% of our audiences that support us through Patreon, and that 1%, it makes a huge difference when they do that, and it's great to see the support and it can be 50 cents. Like I have people that support the show for 50 cents, and if you got $2 a month, throw it to Player One Podcast so they can continue to do awesome, cool stuff.
Or you can throw it to Back in My Play.
Well, I'm trying to do the double switch. I'm trying to just say, oh, he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, I should just give him
I see.
F those guys.
I see. I understand.
But,
hey, Kevin.
No, for real.
Kevin, I have a question for you. On the YY front. Did you ever play Konami YY Racers for Game Boy Advance?
I did not. Did that come out in the States?
Released domestically as Konami Crazy Racers.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, it's the kart racing game, which I actually, as far as GBA kart racing games go, I preferred it significantly over the Mario Super Circuit.
I bet it's really expensive.
You know what? I have no idea.
GBA games are getting kind of nuts because there's so many fakes and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it's if you've not played that, it's definitely worth giving it a go. As part of the YY series. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give a quick shout out to another podcast that I listen to, and I recently found out one of the hosts is foolish enough to listen to this show. It's
what? There you go.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
It's a comedy podcast called Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social. It's a spin-off of Penn Jillette's podcast, and Paul Mattingly, who is an improv guy out in Vegas. He likes our show, so it's just weird.
We got one listener who likes it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Speaking of your listeners, I have to give a shout out to also Josh Hillier, who welcomes Zelda, his second child in the world.
Oh, look at that!
Wow, congratulations to Josh. Yes,
so, very cool.
That's he went full video game character name.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And she's already beat the first dungeon. Can you believe that? First dungeon. 1 week old.
Now, what would have happened if Zelda was a girl? Would that have?
Zelda, it's his daughter.
That's the joke. It's because people think that Link's name is Zelda, and just.
Who thinks that? Nobody thinks that anymore.
Yeah, I have Hyrule Historia. I'm not going to mess that up.
This is why I'm not hosting the comedy podcast, and I'm stuck here with you guys. So
there you go.
Don't worry. Like the funny stuff.
We regret it too.
Yeah.
All right. Next week.
Is that it for this week?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Kevin.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, seriously,
Thanks,
Kevin. It's always a treat.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.